It's something that every American should be proud of. It's part of the Democrats' blame America first attitude. It has never produced false leads nor information. It's like a swimming lesson. Our fourth story on the countdown, those all stated positions from right-wing politicians, pundits, and personages about waterboarding, the forcible drowning of another human being without actually letting them die, if you do it right. An act that, according to the ranking Republican on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mr. Bond of Missouri, not only does not constitute torture, but is more akin to, say, swimming.
Do you think that waterboarding, as I described it, constitutes torture?
There are different ways of doing it. It's like swimming. It's just a freestyle backstroke. If waterboarding could be used almost to define some of the techniques that our trainees are put through, but that's beside the point. It's not being used.
And according to a candidate for president, any disparagement of waterboarding is a political plot.
I think it's part of the Democrat blame America first. It goes right along with their desire to close Guantanamo, where the terrorists are gaining weight on American menus that include honey glazed chicken and rice pilaf.
Speaking of Guantanamo, the legal advisor to that institution, when asked whether confessions obtained by waterboarding would be admissible in court, could not give a yes or no answer.
The evidence that we are gathering, whatever the methods that have been used to gather that evidence, will be evaluated in connection with the law and in the trials. It can't be defined in an abstract way like that.
Yeah, abstract, yes or no. A murky position echoed by the Attorney General himself, who's still reviewing memos to figure out whether waterboarding is, in his opinion, torture, despite all the precedent set by U.S. law before the Bush administration and despite the Detainee Treatment Act of 2005, which specifically states no person in the custody or under the effective control of the Department of Defense or under detention in a Department of Defense facility shall be subject to any treatment or technique of interrogation not authorized by and listed in the United States Army Field Manual on Intelligence Interrogation. In the Field Manual, under the heading, if used in conjunction with intelligence interrogations, prohibited actions include but are not limited to waterboarding. In black and white, according to U.S. law, waterboarding specifically is illegal. And for those who claim it was not illegal in 2002 when Abu Zubaydah was subject to it, a Japanese officer was successfully prosecuted by the U.S. for waterboarding one of our civilians in 1947. And in 1992, the Army Training Manual clearly stated, it is critical that the Geneva Convention provisions concerning protected persons be strictly adhered to in the quest to identify legitimate threats and gain needed intelligence. The Geneva Convention that specifically states prisoners of war must at all times be protected, particularly against acts of violence or intimidation. Joined now by Rachel Maddow, the host of The Rachel Maddow Show on Air America Radio. Thanks for your time tonight, Rachel.
Hi, Keith.
There's no question about this. This is not an opinion or I heard Joe Scarborough going off on this morning as if we were going to put it to a vote. It's torture. The head of the Zubaydah interrogation, even while extolling it, saying it was necessary, says it's torture. There's chapter and verse in the legal system. It's illegal. How is the right wing managing to extend this debate as if there were a debate, persuading people that this is somehow murky?
In any rational universe, this would be recognized as torture now, as clearly as it was recognized as torture when we, as you mentioned, prosecuted those Japanese officials in World War II for having done it, when the Khmer Rouge did it, when it was done in Algeria, when it was done in the Spanish Inquisition. All of these times it's been recognized clearly as torture. There's never been a question about that. If anything is torture, this is torture. But the problem is that under the Bush administration, there is documentary evidence that American officials with direction from the White House, with direction from the administration, have done this. It's also very clear that torture is illegal. In order for nobody to go to jail, we have to go down. Go through the looking glass. We have to go down the rabbit hole in this, and all of a sudden decide that waterboarding isn't torture. We just need to undefine it in a way that's been rationally defined for centuries.
The administration rejoinder to abiding by the Geneva Conventions is that the Military Commissions Act of 2006, which stated, let me read it exactly, the President has the authority for the United States to interpret the meaning and application of the Geneva Conventions. Does he likewise have the right to interpret United States law as he sees fit?
No, he doesn't have the right to interpret U.S. law as he sees fit, although he has claimed that right. One I think of the most undercovered Washington stories of the past week or so was when Sheldon Whitehouse stood up on the floor of the Senate within the last few days and said that he had reviewed the Office of Legal Counsel memoranda by which the White House, the administration, explains to itself what it thinks is legal. And according to his readings of classified Office of Legal Counsel documents, the White House, the administration, not only believes that the Bush administration and the president specifically get to decide every grounds on which every action is of the president's is constitutional, but every executive agency is then bound by what the president has decided he can legally do. So they are claiming the right for the president to define all U.S. law according to his own terms. The question is whether or not that makes sense and whether any future president will be able to undo that.
Right, and there could be a problem with that in later life if you have one guy interpreting all the laws. Last thing is strategy. Is there strategy here in the last couple of days, or are we getting super paranoid? This story of waterboarding tapes and waterboarding tapes destruction crashes around the administration, which suddenly gets a gift. An ex-CIA man comes out and says, oh, yeah, it was torture, but it produced 100% accurate intelligence, even though I can't remember any of it right now. And it was necessary then, but we should not do it again. Is that coincidental?
We don't know why John Kiriakou came out now, and we don't know why he said exactly what he said when he said it. But I do know what the effect of it has been. And the effect of it has been that the story is, oh, does waterboarding actually give us good information? Which it seemed clear before it didn't. And we're not talking about the fact that General Hartman today said that if U.S. prisoners are tortured with waterboarding abroad, the U.S. can no longer say that would be a crime. That ought to be the story today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good luck out there, boys.
Yeah.
Something else we're sending you into battle without. Rachel Maddow of Air America, as always, great thanks, Rachel.
Thank you, Keith.